So yesterday we started having some general idea on how exactly your criteria of your logical and physical structures will make a change, okay? Now whatever kind of technology you are taking in the current struct, almost on a similar criteria is there. Technology wise your structures could be different, that's all. Suppose say like you're just moving further and you're talking about anything like your Java, let us say. Now when you are dealing with your Java-like implementations, you are just trying to analyze the particular components and you are putting them in the form of what? Java classes. And then you are trying to call them as an objects with instances, and then you are applying your methods that can communicate with your objects. And these particular objects, they have to be stored in the database, let us say. Then we are contacting the Oracle-like databases. With an Oracle-like databases, these things are considered in the form of what? Tables, where a table is nothing but a collection of your rows and columns. Now these things are internally getting converted into what now? Database files. We call them as database files because these files are created by your database management system software, not directly by the corresponding operating system. These files will be finally stored in the operating system only, but we are creating in database management system software will create, and then it will hand over these files to the corresponding OS. And then from there it is becoming what now? Operating system level files, and these operating system files are getting onto the physical storage device that's fundamentally existing there. So, for a person who is working with Java, let us say, for him the classes and objects and methods are what? Physical structures. What he is trying to understand from the interface is what? Logical. The person who is a front-end developer, for a front-end developer, the front-end interface is what? Physical. The Java is basically nothing but what for him? Logical. So that's how the construct is changing. Be very clear about that. Now, for an Oracle developer, tables are nothing but what? Physical. The Java integrated objects are nothing but what? Logical. For an Oracle developer, on the other side, the database file is what? Logical. Because I don't create a database file, my software will create that. So for a developer in Oracle, table is physical. Anything that is on the right side or left side is what? Logical. So this logical and physical is a concept that you have to always catch. It's not something you can just take it as a definition from the book and you can just start representing it. So you should always understand one thing, your data is getting transformed by multiple levels before it's going into the disk or not. Yes or no? So the end user is giving you data in which form? Tell me, your end user is giving the data in which form? Human readable form. The end user is always giving the data in human readable form. Now he is giving this human readable form of the data in one of the interface what we created. If it is a web interface, then we are converting the data into what? If it is a web interface, we are converting the human readable data into what? We are converting that into an HTML form. We are converting the data into what? HTML form. The data in HTML form, when it's contacting your Java, it's getting converted into what now? It's converted into what? An object state. The data is getting converted into one object state recognized by the Java data types. Recognized by the structure and architecture of Java data types. This data that is in the form of objects of Java and the types that are recognized by Java, when it is coming into Oracle, it is becoming what now? The tables, Oracle tables. Oracle tables and Java objects are same or they are not same? They are not same because both are two different kinds of technologies and two different architectures. And any data type of Java, is it equal to the data type of the Oracle? Any data type of Java, is it equal to the data type of Oracle? No. So is not the data type architecture of Java is translating the data into the architecture of the Oracle data type once again? From there the data is moving into what now? File structure. This file structure is translating the data once again into what now? Operating system level file structure. This operating system level file structure is getting converted into what now? Physical storage device like structure. Means how many ways you have converted your data in all this process? Means the original data given by the client is almost all not in the same form by the time it came to the disk. Tomorrow, once again the client will request the data. Yes or no? Today the client is storing the data. Tomorrow the client will request the data. When the client is requesting the data, you should read the data from where? From the disk. But you have to present the data where? You should present the data where? In the interface what the client has designed for himself. Yes or no? Now this interface is expecting which kind of data? Human readable data. But the data was already translated into so many number of ways now. So whatever kind of technology you have developed, don't you think that it is your responsibility in that technology definitely to retranslate that data once again from the disk level to the human readable form in the front end or not? If any technology should have two responsibilities, can you confirm that for me now? Any technology in the world should have two responsibilities. What is that? It should always accept the data the way the technology is given by another technology. Convert the data according to its technology. Give the data to the next technology the way it is expecting. And whenever the technology is reading the data, take the data given by the other technology in its way. Translate that into its own architecture. Convert that once again to the next level of the technology and it should give. Because every technology should have minimum of data conversion intelligence. If the data conversion intelligence is not there, no two technologies in the world can communicate with one another. The people who design this technology communication architecture are called as what? The people who design this technology conversion architecture are called as what? Or technology integration architecture are called as what? Interfacing and integration engineers. If these people are not there, no two technologies can communicate with one another. Every technology will keep the data to itself. One technology cannot give the data to another technology. See, why I am telling you all these things is especially the people keeping experience. When you come into my company, you come and tell me that I can work with Oracle effectively. I am interested, but I am not overexcited. When you say, I know Oracle, I am interested with you, but I am not overexcited with you. Why? Because everything Oracle cannot do in the world. Oracle can do certain things that are essential to that level. Now, what you can do in your Oracle, can you make that to communicate with the next technology that is available on this side? And what your Oracle is having, can you make your Oracle to transfer that particular piece of the data that is coming from Oracle to the next level? So, be an Oracle developer, but understand what's happening on this side and that side of your Oracle. You don't need to do any programming for that, but at least being an Oracle developer, your data is being requested by Java developer. What is your responsibility? Being an Oracle developer, your data from your tables is requested by Java developer. What is your responsibility? Sit and communicate with the Java developer and explain him at least your architecture very properly, such that the Java developer can understand your architecture and design an interface for that. You cannot tell that I created a table and I will give you, take it. Java developer says what I should do with the table when I don't understand your table. Then you say that I don't know, that is your headache. Project will never continue. Why? Because the Java developer says when you are not ready to talk about the architecture with me and we cannot synchronize it, why I should discuss with you? He is also having his own personal ego and professional ego, no? Now when Java developer is having some data, is having data in which form? Object form. He has to give this data to whom? Oracle developer. So Oracle developer will keep the data where? In the table. So if Oracle developer is talking to the Java developer and asking him, can you tell me what is your object and structure of your object? Java developer says that is none of my business, it's your headache. I'll also have a professional ego. I'll tell him, Okay, man, until you do not tell what object you are having with me, how I can create a table? So I will not create the table, because you should explain what data you are giving me. When you explain the data what you are giving me, according to that data, I will think of how to create the table. When you do not want to talk about your object, why the hell I should talk with table with you? 60% of the projects in some companies fail only because technology to technology people are not ready to communicate with one another. So I am not saying that you should know Java, but at least you should know how to communicate with the Java developer. I am not saying that Java developer should know what is a database, but they should know at least how to communicate with the database developer. So the Java developer, on one side he should know what? How to communicate with the database developer. On the other side he should have what? How to communicate with the front-end developer. So that is one reason. Watch carefully when you are putting your resume in Oracle. If you are having any good senior, he will suggest you. He will suggest you saying that learn one language like Java also, and also try to understand an operating system very carefully. Why? Because a database developer on one side should talk to one programmer on this side and one operating system environment on the other side. The reason when you are learning this technology, maybe one of your friend could have given a suggestion, learn Linux also. Why? Your friend may not be doing anything, but why he is saying is you should know an operating system, because finally our data will go into the file structures and it will stay there. So you cannot come with one technology and say that you don't need to be master of all technologies, but at least you should know how your technology speaks with another technology. The technology integration you don't develop and you come into the industries. That's what I'm saying. If you say you know Oracle, we are interested with you, but we are not overexcited with you. When we are selecting you, make us get overexcited. That is one best resource I can take it. So tell me how you can exist in this kind of environment without knowing fundamental sense of the structures that are coming from one technology to another technology. Therefore, when you are coming into Oracle, Oracle was very simple. It was saying very clearly, database is nothing but it is collection of business data in the form of database tables stored as data files. So your Oracle is hiding the architecture of the files for you. So I can always say that Oracle is an abstraction to the file system architecture on the other side. So as a developer, you need not know what is a file, but at least you should know that there is something called as a file that is operating through the process. Therefore, every database should have some features. What are they? Database should always provide access to external tables. People misunderstand this concept called as external tables. External tables means, as a database developer, I will keep my database in tables. I am giving this data for permanent storage to where? Operating system. Operating system is keeping the data in what? Files. Now my data, what I am keeping in tables, it should be kept in the files now. Now file should follow the similar structure to my table or any other structure. Similar structure to my table. Why? Because tomorrow I will request the data in the form of a table only. I will never request the data in the form of a file. Because the only structure I know as a database developer is a table only. So when I kept the data in the table and I gave the data to my operating system that is available, my operating system is keeping my data in the file in the format of a table. Therefore, they are called as external tables. External tables means they are files, data files for a database developer. We don't exactly call them as what? Files. We say that they are external tables because they are not part of my database. They are not part of my database. So don't misunderstand that particular term called as external table. For a database developer, external table means it is a structure that is not part of the database as a table. It is something else. So whenever I'm requesting the data from an external table which is in the form of a file. So my technology is reading the data in which form? File form, but should show me in which form? Table form. Therefore my database should always have the ability, I'm making the point very clear, my database should always have the ability to communicate to the files outside the database and then get me the data and give me the data in the form of tables that are existing in the database. So no database should tell the database developer that you write programming for files. It should never say that. We will only write instruction to the table, and that is where our communication stops. When I request, my data went into which data file, I don't care now. I don't care, because storing the data in the form of the file is a responsibility of the technology called as database. So it should take that responsibility. Therefore, a database developer should need not know where the data physically is stored in the form of a file. But being a technologist, we should understand that it is there. See, we are not users of database. When we are what? Developers of database applications. We are not end users. We are not end users of database. We are people who are learning databases to implement database applications. When we are learning these databases to implement database applications, we should definitely know the technology bit more seriously than the other people. Therefore, you take any database application, database applications are developed in a particular type of order. Database applications are always developed in a particular type of order. Therefore, if you don't understand the order in which the database applications are developed, with each stage of the database application with a purpose for which it is applied, all the commands will be completed. You will feel that you know databases. You will get through your interviews also, but when you are in the project, your problem starts. Your problem starts only when you are in the project. Till then, it never starts. That's what I'm saying. Making you sitting in this class, we can make you feel every day that you are doing wonderful things. But I told you, only the day when you are in the project, you will come to know whether this course has been conducted properly or not. So, you are going to develop applications or not, time tells you. But understand one thing, developing one application has certain kinds of stages. So as far as database management systems are concerned, there is a course of developing one database application. For all the students who are coming from computer science background, I just want an answer from you. To develop any particular software, we have some methodology or we don't have some methodology? We are having some methodology and we have to follow that methodology. Yes or no? We call that methodology as what? SDLC. Yes or no? We call it as what? SDLC. Software Development Life Cycle. Software Development Life Cycle has to be applied by following some principles. What are they? What is the principle we have to adapt? Definitely to develop an application through SDLC. We have certain principles which are defined seriously and they are called as software engineering principles. There is a total subject called as software engineering principles. Because software is not a product, software is an engineered product. Any engineered product has certain principles. Binding to those principles only if we develop any such kind of product, the product will be perfect, it will be reliable, it will be definitely qualitative. Without binding to those principles, you do any engineering process, it fails. So, majority of the times people think that software applications are developed directly by the softwares. No software will develop an application directly. First thing, keep it in your mind. Second, no software will develop a product directly. No software will develop a solution directly. All softwares in the world will provide you features and facilities that should be used in a particular methodological way to get you applications of products or solutions. Therefore, learning the features, when we learn a software, everybody will do. See, you are sitting in this class and you want to learn database management system software. I will also teach you features. But if you don't know the methodological implementation of the feature, then I don't think you will get the product very perfectly well. It is as simple as this, I will tell you. See, it's easy to understand, therefore I am trying to give you an example. You go for a civil engineering construction. To construct one wall, we need a feature of a product called as a brick. We need a feature of a product called as a sand. We need a feature of a product called as a cement. And we need a feature of a product called as a water. So these are common sense for any general human being once he is mature. But I think there is some methodology of mixing these things in a very proper way, I hope so. Now suppose you are saying that I will make all the bricks to stand on one another, and after that I will try to put the sand, and then I will keep the cement and I will put the water. What you are saying could be true because the 4 products are compulsory, but the methodology you are using to construct is not correct. The people who are staying in the building should be having guts to stay there now. The way I was constructing the wall of a 2-floor building, the same ingredients will be used even if it is a 10-store building also, 10 floors building also. But story by story means floor by floor, when I am moving on increasing my number of levels, my methodology of construction is changing. If I don't follow that methodology of change in my construction, what happens? If I go with the same kind of methodology I followed for the 1st floor and the methodology if I follow for the 10th floor, the 10th floor will never stand. You just watch very carefully, if you are any engineering graduate, the downmost floors, they have thick walls. As the construction goes up, the thickness of the wall decreases, the weight of the brick also decreases, the height of the room also decreases. At least by half an inch they decrease the height also. Why? Because the 1st floor should take maximum amount of weight of the top floors. So we are having the features are same, but the methodology is changing by the rule of the construction there. The same way in software also. You can't expect software like I learned software, so what? Many times people say like I know this software, so what? Do you know the methodology of using the software properly to get a product? Do you know the methodology of using that particular software to get one application, to get one solution? No. Then what I should do with your software, tell me? So without a development life cycle, no technology in the world can be definitely provided a solution. So if it is a software, then we said software development life cycle. Development life cycle is there for anything that is engineered in the world. You take any engineered product, it has a development life cycle. In that methodology of the development life cycle only you should do that. If it is a software, we call it as what? Software development life cycle. Now generally SDLC is a series of 7 steps. You have to follow those stages definitely as it is, no doubt. Integrating each step with its own engineering principles once again. Now when we say RDBMS, we are saying that RDBMS is a software that will help you in developing what? Database management system applications. Then if I follow the same 7 steps of SDLC, what wonders my RDBMS software is doing for me? So don't take your traditional, conventional SDLC model, what you learned in your colleges, as it is into your software industry. Remember that. Constructing one software for the first time is different. Developing one application from one existing software is different. When I am developing one application from an existing software means the software has already made some automations for some of the steps and methods I should follow in programming. Means all those methodologies what were automated by the software, I can ignore them. Anything that is not automated and I have to customize it, I should follow that very perfectly. First thing, I don't know anything about this software. How I can understand the methodology I should follow to develop any application out of that software? Therefore, remember one thing, it's Oracle or it's any database management system software in the world. All database management system software should follow standard principle. According to that standard principle only, any database management system software by any company should be developed. So, if you say you are developing one database application, a database application is always implemented in 4 stages. A database application is always implemented in 4 stages. We are talking only at the database application side. To one database, definitely we need one middle layer business architecture, and we need one presentation layer which is a front-end architecture. Database management system application never takes the responsibility of the middle layer business architecture and the front-end also. Therefore, remember what we are talking about these 4 stages is only at the level of SQL. Okay, is at the level of SQL. What is the SQL? We'll see later on, don't worry about that. So the first step is what? Creating data structures that are essential to store the data, stock the data and manipulate the data. If I don't create the structures that are essential for storing the data and stocking the data and manipulating the data, how I can implement my business operations, tell me? So the first step in any database application is what? Creating the structures. In any database management system, these structures are fundamentally tables and indexes. Once your structures are created, you are having one platform. You are having one platform for what? Storing the data, stocking the data now. So, whenever you come with the construct of the application, these are the stages with which it goes now, okay? Just catch the visual presentation. You take any database application in development, there are certain steps now, okay? Step 1. You take Oracle, you take MS SQL Server, you take MySQL, you take IBM's DB2. These all are database management system application software. They have to follow this principle. So in step 1, we are creating the data structures. So creating of data structures will be done for which purpose? Data storage purpose. This data storage purpose is generally planned in the form of tables and indexes. Step 1 is completed now. For your business application, you know what data you need, yes or no? Who is giving you the data what you need? Client discusses with us. That's why yesterday I was only concentrating on that logical, physical only. I did not trouble you at all. Now with all that business process what your client has explained to you, you got the information of all your tables and indexes. So what are indexes? Just remember only one point for today. I'll elaborate these things very detailed, I'm telling you. Practically we have great lot of work to be done, and I'm only putting the points in your brain first of all. Indexes are special kind of data structures. They help in making your search to be faster. Okay, indexes are one kind of special kind of data structures in your Oracle or any database which will help you in making your data searching to be very, very fast. That's all. You just remember that. What more you need, everything will speak practically. Now my question is, after I created all the tables which can store the data of my business, I have to share these tables with the other type of developers and end users or not? Yes or no? Yes. Now the question is, when I share these tables to the next level of the developers or end users, what is the guarantee that my tables are going to be secure? See, my object, if I am the owner, I have responsibility, because I feel the responsibility. It's my object, I gave it to you. Why you will feel the responsibility, tell me? Human beings tendency. It's as simple as this, I'll tell you, it could be a fundamental experience also for you. Go back to your schools and recollect your pen in your compass box. How carefully you are looking into that. Your friend's pen, you just imagine your sincerity in handling that. At the later levels, if you speak, your bike, how much care you will take for that? You borrowed your friend's bike. How much care you will take for that? Human beings' tendency is same anywhere, okay? When you come to the physical goods or logical goods, it's same. I am the owner of my table. I know the pain in creating the table and protecting the table for my application. When I share the same table to my next developer, wantedly he will never damage when I can tell. But accidentally, because of his ignorance and negligence, if it is damaged, I cannot question him. I cannot question him. Why? Because giving my object to the other person is my mistake only. Damaging that object is not his mistake. Because I should have the credibility first of all. My object, can I share with this person or not? If I am sharing it, how to protect it? That's as simple as that. Therefore, in human beings' fundamental standards, what happens? Everything happens in software as it is now. So these tables, without sharing, I cannot work within my product. I have to share. I have to share. Sir, why we should share? Simple thing I'll tell you. You are a developer who is in charge in sales module. You are a developer who is in charge in sales module. Whenever you conduct one sale, you need information of what? Whenever one sale is conducted, you need information of what? Items. Yes or no? But items is not in the control of sales. Items is actually in the control of inventory. Means one of the developers in inventory is in charge of the items table and he has to share this table to the sales people now. Now, what is the guarantee that the salesperson can know the credibility of importance of that items table in practicality? Because of ignorance or negligence, he dropped that inventory table, items table. Now, inventory person cannot come and fight with the sales guy. Why? Because when you shared your table with me, why did you give me permission for dropping the table? You could have given me permission for only reading the data from your table. Means when I am asking you an object, you should know the reason why I am asking, and according to that only you should give me permission. Giving the total permissions is your problem. So if one table is dropped, what is such a kind of problem? We'll have the source code, can't we create once again? That is where a student's mindset is working. Table is not important for me. In the table I can have some million records of data. Once the table is dropped, the table is not dropped. The data is also lost. That is very essential in my business. I can create the table in 2 seconds because I have the source code. But what about the 10 million records that are there in the table which I collected in last 10 years? Imagine that 10 million records of data that I kept into my table physically, there is no second copy with me now. Am I not losing 10 years of my business data now? As a businessman, what is my loss? Can you really calculate it? Therefore, database developers, when they come and say that I know how to create a table, why I should get excited and tell me? If you are a database developer, you will create a table. But do you know how to protect your table? The moment you say, I know how to protect my tables such that they are not lost accidentally or they are damaged, then I am excited. Then I'll ask you, what is your algorithm? Can you tell me? So once the step 1 of the database application is completed in creating tables and indexes, We will immediately go to the step 2. Step 2 is only to see that I am protecting the physical structures of my database. So, in step 2 you just watch, I am creating alternate names for original data structures. My second step is nothing but creating alternate names to the original data structures. Means my tables I can always keep in my control and I will be responsible for it. But when I have to share my tables, generally you need the data from my table or you need my table. Data. So, why I should give you my original table to you? So, I will create one alternate name on my original table and then I will give that alternate name to you. These alternate names are generally for structural shareability and safety. So, I am giving one alias. In one way you can say like I am giving one alias of my object to you where you will think it's original object. You will never know that I gave you an alias. When you touch that alias comes to my original table and it speaks with me. Accidentally you dropped my alias. Nothing will be a damage for me. Why? Because alias is just like what? A reference. It's lost. But my table and my data is always safe. So suddenly you dropped my alternate name. Then you are complaining. Then I'll say, no worries. I'll create alternate name once again. Your application will start functioning automatically. This is done in Oracle in the form of synonyms. In Oracle we do this concept with a concept called as what? Synonyms. There are two types of synonyms in Oracle. One is public and the next is private. Now we will talk about those public and private later on. Don't worry about that. So synonyms are just nothing but alternate names for every Oracle's database object that is created. In a very good project, if a fundamentally perfect architect is there, once the tables are created by the DBAs, he'll immediately tell the DBAs to create alternate names in the form of synonyms, and he will share only synonyms to all the developers in the project, not only the end users. Even developers are also given only synonyms. They are never given the original table names. Sir, why developers are given synonyms? Why I should give them? Developer needs an object to communicate. That object is original name or alternate name, that doesn't matter for me, no. Because of this, sir, what's my advantage? Advantage is security. The original object name is never known to anybody. When the original object name is never known to anybody, definitely it's a security. And original objects, where they are physically existing, I don't need to tell anybody. When the original objects are physically stored where, in which machine, if I don't say, it's another level of high level security. I give you all the alternate names only to you. My alternate name, what I gave you, you are sharing with somebody else also, it's not a problem for me. Why? Because these alternate names don't contain anything. They just contain what? Structure, nothing more than that. But when you're working with alternate name comes and talks to my original object. So I can create one layer of security for my entire project where the original structural location of these objects is never known to anybody in the world. My project is fully safe and secure and private or not? So when you come and tell me, I can create a synonym, we don't get excited. Why did you create a synonym? That's what I am saying. Throughout the course, you will do everything what other students are doing in the world. You will come and tell me I can create a table. I will not get excited because in database you should create a table only. Why did you create a table? What type of tables you created for your project and what is the purpose of it? You explain me that, then I will get excited. I created a synonym. You don't need to tell me because synonym should be created. In your project, why did you create the synonym? What is the purpose of it? How much security you have planned and promised by that? And what is the maintenance cost you have reduced out of it? Tell me that calculation. I am excited. So especially students keeping experience, check where you are to answer your questions to the industries. Once the synonyms are created, I want one answer from you, okay? There is one table in my project called a students. Okay, I'm coming at your level to your college and I'm speaking now because you're all been part of your colleges, you know the domain. There is one table which is talking the details of the students in my college. Now the student table physically, once it is created, I created a synonym out of that. Synonym can come and communicate with this table, no doubt about it. Now, this student's information is essential for multiple different number of users in my business, or only one user will use it. Multiple users. Now, few of the users I am trying to tell you now. Okay, one is the admission department, admission clerk, the principal of the college, your head of the department, your examination branch, your fee payment department, your academics management department, your librarian in your particular college, and your lab or where you are trying to do your practicals. These all people need your information. Do you agree with me? Now my question is, the student table is having total 20 properties of the student. The student table is having total 20 properties of the student. If you contact the table, it gives you all 20 properties with values. You contact the synonym also, it gives you all 20 properties and the values. Now, librarian needs the total data of the student or partial data of the student. Partial data. Examination branch needs the total data of the student or partial data of the student. Partial data. What librarian needs with the student and what examination needs with the student, both the data is same or they are different? They are different. Because examination is a separate business responsibility, library is a separate business responsibility. These two departments need the student data, but they don't need the total data what admission department needs. So shall I create only one table or three tables now? Shall I create one table and keep the total data of the student in one table and share this table to all the people, or create three tables as student in admission, student in library, student in examination as three tables now? We have to create only one table. Because rule of database is object should be registered only once, but shared in multiple places with the total information or required information. Required information. But when I give you the table, you can take the total data or only the required data. Total data. Human beings tendency, okay? See, you are the key of my house. Okay? Let us understand human beings first of all. Then we'll understand software automatically. You asked me the key of the house, okay? I gave you the key because you asked me. Then I am telling you, please see that you are sitting only in the front room. Don't go to the other rooms, please. What do you say, man? Yes, mother promise. Okay? Then I'll go. I believed you. I believed you and gave you the house and I gave you the key. I went away, believing you. After you open the key and you open the door, human being will come out automatically. This human being will tell this guy, why he told me not to go to the other rooms? I'll go to those rooms only. Because that's a tendency. Because the problem of human beings is, what is happening in our house is not important. What is happening in the neighbor's house is more important. The same tendency when you come into the software also will be there, because you're a human being who is developing software, not aliens, no. So, if I give you one table and tell you, librarian, please take the table of student, but see only the data what you need from the student. And the librarian says, what data I want I can see tomorrow also. What data I don't need I will see first. Because by tomorrow he may not give that data for me. So we can't give tables like this and then tell that, why did you see my data? Why did you give your table? The same question that arises. So if you expected me not to enter into other rooms, you could have locked all the rooms and gave only the key to which room I should go and you could have gone out. When you feel that giving the key is insecurity, when I asked you, you shouldn't have given me. You shouldn't have given me. Giving is your problem only. Taking is not my problem. Because I requested you. I never said that you should respond to that compulsorily. So understand these things when we come into the computers also. Therefore, when you create tables and you create synonyms, synonyms are protecting the tables. Synonyms are not protecting the data. First understand this. Are you catching the point now? Synonyms only protect the tables and structures. Synonyms don't protect the data. You talk to the synonym, synonym gets all the data. But librarian needs only librarian data. The examination branch needs examination branch data. Principal of the college needs only the principal's level data, not anything else. How to stop all these people not to see unwanted data of the student? That is where the step 3 of your project will start. The step 3 of your database application project is creating logical tables now. Creating logical tables which are called as views. Are you catching the point now? The third stage of your project is creating logical tables which are called as views. So creating relational or object views upon the database objects. This is for data privacy. This is for data privacy. So I will have only student table. Librarian says I want students data. I'll ask the librarian what data you need, tell me now. Librarian cannot say any data. Tell me what data. No any data. Then I'll not give you go. Why? Because you can't be ambiguity now. As a librarian, you need which data of the student, tell me. Because I am the in charge of student, I cannot share everything with you. Then librarian is saying that I need the student's academic details. I need the student's academic details. And am I eligible to give the student the books? I should know that. Okay. Then I will create one view. The view name can be any name. But I will design the view in such a way that when the librarian contacts this view goes and contacts the synonym. Synonym goes and contacts the table. But we don't give the total data. You will go and get only that data what librarian needs. So because of the view, we will try to give partial structure with partial data to the next level of the users. Be very clear, means from my total structure, what structure of data a librarian needs, only that will go. From my particular view, what data that should go to examination branch, it goes to that only. From my particular view, what principal needs, only principal will get that data only. Principal also cannot come and demand and say that I am the principal, you give me the whole data. Sorry, I cannot give you. Because I have one rule here, principal's privileges are this. As per those privileges, you will get only this data, that's all. So, authority of the data is under one control. Shareability can be under many controls. Therefore, authority cannot reveal the whole data to all the shareable people. So who needs which data, that only we should release. So we create views in two types. One is relational views and object views. Everything is looking fine here. Okay. Now, first we secured what? Structures. Okay. Second, we are now securing what? Data. Now third level. Okay. Next. At this level, data is secure. No doubt about it. But another kind of problem can start now. The data in the table can be accessed by many users in my project or only few users? Many users. All the users will access the data with the same kind of operational requirement or different operational requirements. Different operational requirements means some people are only authorized to read the data. See, librarian is authorized to read the name of the student, his address and academic details. Librarian has no authority to change the name of the student, address and his academic details. He can only read, he should not make changes. Means librarian should not insert the student's data. Librarian should not delete the student's data. Librarian should not update the student's data. He should only read. But you have given the view. Once the view is given, how the librarian can be controlled for not to update, delete and insert. Means data security came, structural security came, but operational security did not come now. If I don't give operational security, what happens? One day librarian got some irritation, he'll delete all the students' data, resign and he'll go. Anybody can do that. If the librarian is in an irritative mood, let us say, he is changing the address of one student to another student. Whatever, anything he can do. We cannot say that a human being will do this only. Because the most useless object in the world that can be never understood is human being only. So, we have to control this object first of all. You can't expect this object to be controlled automatically by itself. You have to put it in restriction. So, now we have to keep the operational restriction. If operational restriction is not there, what happens? Everybody will do whatever he needs on that particular data what is given to him. So, step 4 of the project will start now. The step 4 of the project is what? The step 4 of the project is nothing but access restriction upon the transactions or manipulations for data in the database objects. Means who should insert, who should update, who should delete, who should select. We will try to put those access restrictions in the 4th stage. So this 4th stage is for the sake of what? Authorization and authentication of the transactions. Suppose I am having 3 librarians, let us say, all the 3 librarians may not have the same privileges. One librarian is taking care of only, say like, technical state of the books in my library. That librarian should not try to provide any books or he cannot lend any books which are non-technical or they can be considered not part of this now. How I should separate it? I am having 3 accountants in my particular college, let us say. All 3 accountants, shall I give them the same permissions now? One accountant is authorized to collect only the tuition fees. The next accountant is authorized to collect only the examination fees. The third accountant is authorized to collect any other fees now. Now if I don't try to restrict them for this, all will collect any particular fees now. So I have to schedule my responsibilities in the project by the role of the personalities who are available. Do you agree with me? That is the 4th stage. This 4th stage in Oracle is done through grant and revokes. We grant some permissions and we revoke some permissions depending upon different people who are participating in the project. If these 4 stages are completed, one database application at the database side is completed. Total application is not completed. Okay? At the database level it's completed. Then comes middle layer, business application. Then comes front end, which is presentation layer of the application. By the time I complete my SQL, I am making my agenda clear to you now. By the time I complete my SQL, these 4 stages should be completed by us. When I will complete which stage, there is no timetable for me. See, I am telling you very clearly, when I will never keep in my mind that today I will complete 10 slides compulsorily. Never. Therefore, don't ask me, sir, tomorrow what you will teach. Because I will decide what I should teach tomorrow only after I sit in my chair and I start talking to my students and the response what I am getting from them and the criteria that is happening in the class. Therefore, certain times I am slow, certain times I am fast. Therefore, I don't have any agenda like, if somebody comes and says, November 20 this month what you will teach. I will only tell you, I will teach. What you will teach. I don't have any agenda like that. Why, sir? Certain times some topics I have to take for 2 days in some batches. The same topic in another batch can be 1 day only. So when you are going and comparing the records of one batch to another batch, you will never find the same agenda any time. So why it happens like that? I told you, with the type of students who are sitting in front of me. See, I feel I am having a set of very highly intellectual students in front of me. My training process will be totally different. I have a set of students, I feel like these are just casual students, they are not so serious in learning the technology. My course will go casually only. So how you will know that? You may not be knowing when, okay, when you are sitting in those chairs, I am scanning you, you are not scanning me, okay? I am scanning every piece of your body language and it tells me very clearly which student is sitting for which purpose, why. Okay? your angle, your position, everything will speak many things to me because it's association with students for the last 22 years now. Okay, there's another database I think I developed in my life. So, student thinks that this guy never speaks with us, no attendance and all these things, nothing. And psychological scanned attendance is there, and definitely who is not coming on which day is very clearly registered here. You come with a question, I'll tell you you are in the class or not. Okay. So, when I am training people to automate the world, then I should have a psychology of automating myself, no? So now your reflections are very important for me. That's what I am saying. You should make me teach you very effectively. I'll keep in my mind, I'll teach you effectively only, don't worry about that. But at 9 o'clock when I'm starting the class, the psychological state of you people makes many things to happen in my mind. That for at least 40% students, I should always feel that they are ready to kill themselves for getting the best career in their life. Then only I'll plan how I should go. They won't, definitely I'll cover these 4 steps, don't worry about that, okay? Don't think that I'll not cover any of these steps now. I'll cover, but when, don't ask me the timetable. The day when I say, today your SQL is completed, if any step is pending, you remind me. Then I'll discuss with you, okay? But by the time we complete SQL, our agenda is clear now. By the time we complete SQL, we are ready for getting into one project, knowing which thing you should do in your project where. It's not topic one. Your topic will go and fit in the project where. You'll have clear agenda. Don't worry about that. So if this is clearly known to you, then I think we are just ready for the next step of our process. So all these 4 stages are nothing but one application development process as far as database. Using SQL, this is not part of PLSQL. PLSQL is another responsibility for us. This is only up to SQL level. Once I feel this is completed, then I will start PLSQL with you. There were many times students ask me, sir, I will learn SQL, PLSQL parallelly. I will tell them risk is yours. See, you paid the money, you sit in any class, I don't care. But finally don't come and tell, sir, I am sitting in PLSQL, I am not understanding. You will not understand. Why? Because you don't do this. After this is completed, that will start. So understand the methodology first of all. Are you catching the point now? If anybody says, I don't have time, parallelly I'll attend SQL, PLSQL, I'll first generally tell him, sincerely if you're asking me, I don't encourage you. No man, if you think that there is some problem and you have to start. But don't ask me how best you understand PLSQL, because only when SQL is done properly, PLSQL continues. So I don't underestimate, overestimate your abilities. That's what I want to tell you. So we have clear agenda for the next level of the process, okay? So as Oracle, what it gives us, what features Oracle gives us, we should know first of all now. So I'm getting into my practical side of Oracle slowly now. Are you catching the point? Let's see what's waiting for tomorrow's session. Thank you very much once again. Tomorrow with you.